again, everybody. It's Kevin Knessa coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 10th day of October in the year 2022. Sure hope you enjoyed your Monday, no matter where it is you are in the country. And if you are, like me, a Mets fan, you are probably miserable. And I'm not even going to get into it. I was thinking about maybe going on a diatribe about the Mets to make myself feel better. But it's not going to work because I'm just disgusted with the Mets. And if you're a Mets fan and you're not disgusted, something is wrong with you. They were just horrendous this weekend, even though they did win 1 out of the 3 games in the series against the Padres. They probably shouldn't have won that game. And so is life, and the season is over, as it usually is at the very first week of the year instead of in October, but we just dragged it out a little bit longer. But as you do every Monday, you welcome me into your home so that I can bring you this week's news. And we're going to try a different format this week. We're going to go in reverse order for this week's newspaper and get to the most important stories toward the end of our broadcast, as you see the back of the paper. And we'll get to this story in a few minutes. But we'll start off with this, that Hudson County Community College has been named a top college to work at in the United States of America. And you know that there are plenty of colleges in America, and Hudson Community College consistently ranks very, very high on these lists. So we congratulate the folks over there, Chris Reber, who is the president of Hudson County Community College, for being able to pull off such a remarkable feat to be one of the top places in the United States to work so far as colleges and universities go. This is sports. We'll get right into that from our sports journalist, Jason Bernstein. Well, do you believe that Kearney and Harrison will be playing again in the Hudson County Soccer Tournament this year? And if you recall, last year, the game was one of the most epic of all time. The match went into overtime, and Kearney won by a 2-1 score. That game, of course, I believe was played at Red Bull Arena, but this one will be played at Kearney High School Stadium Thursday of this week, and the two longtime rivals will square off against each other. A little bit earlier in the tournament this year, it's just the semifinals. So last year was in the finals, so whoever won that game won the county championship, but this is the semifinals. Doesn't take away from the intensity of the rivalry and the excitement of that game Thursday night between the two local teams. But it's happening again, and if you're looking for something to do on Thursday, head over to Kearney High School Stadium and watch Harrison and Kearney play each other in the Hudson County Tournament. We will get to the front page of sports. The North Arlington girls soccer team is having a successful start. They had a little bit of a slow beginning, but Jason Bernstein explains how they have improved over the last couple of weeks. And we have an athlete of the week, too, Belfos Bajuz. I'm not sure. I'm going to leave you to read that because I don't want to give away too much. But that's the athlete of the week this week in sports. This comes to us from our dear friend Tim Wagner, and it's the weekly Kearney Police Blotter. And for some reason, body fluids have been a big, big portion of the blotters over the last couple of weeks. This week, a boyfriend peed on his girlfriend's clothing and left it for her. How thoughtful of him. So we have this and a couple of other entries that Tim has, but I don't know what's going on in this world, folks. I mean, just think about that, how disgusting that is, that he left that sort of message for his girlfriend for her to come home to. And I tend to want to believe that they're probably not a couple anymore. It is about 6 minutes past the hour. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll get to the rest of the news, including this week's top story. So do not go away. We will be right back on The Observer Live. For more than 135 years, The Observer has been the area's leading and only source for local news. It's the place where businesses go to advertise. With a massive print circulation and with a website that has been sought out by national advertisers such as Amazon Nike, and other large corporations, our online presence has grown exponentially since 1996, when our first website debuted. Many of our readers come to us from the local area, but also read us from Jersey City and the rest of Hudson County, and Newark and the rest of Essex County. But they also visit us from across the state, the 5 boroughs of New York City, the city of Philadelphia, and many other states and across the globe. For businesses near or far, there's no better place to get your business or organization the exposure it deserves than right here with The Observer and theobserver.com. We also offer live video advertising, which allows your business to sponsor all of our live videos that are viewed by thousands of readers each week on our Facebook platform and on our website. We also give live reads from the host to let our readers know all that your business has to offer. Our classified section, regularly at least 2 pages, is the go-to spot to rent apartments, find employees, sell unwanted items, and to let people know about services your company offers. In fact, many who rent their apartments in the Observer's classified section call us back before their ads expire because they receive numerous phone calls from prospective tenants, sometimes even from the early edition of the newspaper that appears online before the newspaper even hits the stands. Businesses may choose from any or all of the forms of advertising, and we can design ads for you at no additional cost. Whether it's for display, on our website, live on the air, or something as simple as a classified, our staff has over a century of combined experience, and we will do what it takes to see your business succeed. So don't delay. Give us a call at 201-991-1600 today, and we'll get you on the same road to advertising that so many businesses have ridden for nearly 1.5 centuries. Thanks for watching, and we hope to hear from you soon. It's 8 minutes past the hour. Canessa back with you here on The Observer Live on the 10th day of October in the year 2022. Let's get into this week's top stories now in the second half. This was a very unfortunate item that we got from the Hudson County Sheriff's Office. This woman whose picture you see here went and applied to be a security guard at the Hudson County Sheriff's Office. Now, if you're wondering why does the Hudson County Sheriff's Office need security guards when they're all sworn law enforcement officers, I don't have the answer. Maybe they check people in at the front and check IDs or something like that, but I don't quite understand why you would need to have security guards at a law enforcement agency. But that said, the woman you see here went to the Hudson County Sheriff's Office and applied to be a security officer. And if you're not familiar with what the Hudson County Sheriff's Office does, one of the biggest roles they have is to execute warrants. And it turns out that this woman herself had 11 outstanding warrants herself. So she thought she was getting called back in for another interview, but in fact she was being hauled in on the 11 outstanding warrants. 10 were traffic related. One was out of Pennsylvania in the criminal court system. So needless to say, we don't think she got the job. And if you're going to apply to work for an agency whose job it is to execute warrants, you probably would want to make sure you don't have any yourself. So a very interesting story from Sheriff Frank Scolari this week in Hudson County. This is a very sad story, and it's about the Dean of Seniors and College Guidance at St. Benedict's Preparatory School in Newark. He is a graduate of the school, 1986. He graduated, and he's been at the school for many, many years. And he was caught up in an online vigilante sting on YouTube in Harrison, of all places, a couple of weeks ago, where allegedly believed he was going to meet a 14-year-old boy for the purposes of having sex. Folks, we've had this discussion before on this very program about these online stings that vigilantes, they call, well, I don't know if vigilante is the right word to use, because I think in many regards they're doing a great service to the community, exposing just how many sex offenders there are out there and how many of them are trying to find young boys and girls for sexual purposes. But this guy is somebody who worked with teenagers on a daily basis at St. Benedict's. And he thought he was going to have sex with a 14-year-old boy. And perhaps even worse was that he showed up wearing a St. Benedict's prep windbreaker the day of the sting. So the guy who controlled the sting operation, who is a civilian, he's not a sworn law enforcement officer, brought it to the Harrison Police Department, who brought it to Prosecutor Esther Suarez and the SVU, Special Victims Unit of the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office, arrested him and charged him with attempted luring of a minor. So there's a very, very serious situation here. From what we understand, St. Benedict's has since fired this man. Even though there was no real person involved, it's the intent. It's not the actual actions, it was the intent, and he thought he was going to meet, allegedly, a 14-year-old boy. So they also made it very clear, as Catholic schools are oft to do when something like this happened, that it never happened on their campus. It never happened with any of their students. Not that that really makes it any less, worse, simplified, anything. But it is a reality that no student at St. Benedict's Prep was involved with this man, unfortunately. And we'll see what happens. You know, these cases are tough to prosecute because they often happen without the presence of law enforcement. These vigilante guys or sex predator catchers will call police after the crime occurs, instead of before. And, you know, when you don't follow the rules, it's very hard to get stuff admitted evidence-wise and things of that nature. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with this guy. I'm not sure if he'll really ever get to the point where he does any time behind bars, because often they don't. But the truth of the matter is he will not work at St. Benedict's Prep again, apparently, and hopefully he will never have the opportunity to have such a large-scale audience of potential victims as he had over at St. Benedict's Prep in Newark. We are on a crime wave this week in the Observer, and the Hudson County Community College is now offering a program where inmates at the Hudson County Jail can start their college degrees while they're behind bars. And this gentleman here, whose picture you see, was a member of one of the first cohorts. He was in and out of jail and prison his entire life, but he's turned his life around thanks to this program that Hudson Community College offers. And he's doing much better now and has a greater purpose in his life. It's a very strong program, and yet another one that Chris Reber has implemented as president of Hudson County Community College. The Knights of Columbus have a fundraising dinner coming up on October the 16th, so I hope you'll check that out. Metro Doc has opened in Belleville. This is one of those urgent care centers. I think one of the most impressive things about them is that their place is a one-stop shopping kind of experience. You go in, their motto is, we'll get you in and out in 30 minutes. You don't need an appointment. And then right next door is a supermarket with a pharmacy. There's a connection there, so you can come. 30 minutes later, you're waiting to get your prescriptions at the pharmacy next door. And we had a chance to meet with some of the ownership group there, Moses and Joel. Great human beings, and their mission is to work in places that are underserved medically. And this is one of the few urgent care centers in Belleville. So congratulations to the folks there. And they also do primary care too, but everything's on the premises. You don't have to go to get an x-ray somewhere else. You can get it done right there. Blood work's done there. All sorts of things. They have great state-of-the-art equipment, so check that out as well. And now to the top two stories of this week. Ed Russo has developed a lot in Kearney. I think most of you know that. Any of the Vermeller properties in Kearney are his, and he was looking to built at the site of the former American Strip Steel on Passaic Avenue. He bought the property, but he's suing the town of Kearney now and says that they changed the ground rules midstream. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I want you to read it, and you can make a judgment for yourself. And we'll see what happens there. Ron wrote the story, spoke with Russo and members of the administration. Mayor can't talk about it, obviously, because this is a ongoing litigation, but he did get some information from the township attorney, the town attorney, Gregory Bruno. We'll see what comes of this. Mr. Russo has been involved with a lot of things in this town over the last couple of years. You don't like to see him and the mayor not getting along, so hopefully they will be able to resolve this amicably at some point before it gets to court. And the final top story of this week is the loss of a legend. Charlie Dolan died last week, and most people who live in Kearney or who have lived in Kearney at least for 10 years or longer know who Charlie Dolan was. And when you talk about somebody in the town of Kearney who would be considered almost royalty, it's Charlie Dolan. Charlie was a graduate of St. Cecilia High School, and he married the love of his life, Joanne Foster Dolan, who we are very dear friends with here at the Observer. And Charlie was involved in so many different things, but most notedly was Kearney High School athletics, even though he didn't go to Kearney High School. And for more than almost 40 years, Charlie Dolan suffered from Parkinson's disease, but he fought, and he fought, and he did so much for this community. And our dear friend Jim Haig, who is his friend and his neighbor, came up with what I can only describe as the most epic tribute to a man that I could ever have imagined. And I hope that you will, even if you didn't know Charlie Dolan, read Jim's tribute to Charlie, because you will learn that there are very few people in this world who are like him, who are so willing to be, as you've heard me say so many times on this program, a man for others. And he just typifies what Pedro Arrupe, the Jesuit superior, called for out of all of the people of the world to be 50 years ago. And it's a remarkable tribute to a remarkable man. And, you know, we love Charlie. We love Joanne very, very much. And I'm sure by the time you read this story, if you haven't already, or if you didn't know Charlie, you're going to love Joanne and Charlie Dolan as well. And she spent the last 10 years caring for him on a daily basis because his health took a very bad turn for the worse around then. And it's, you know it's coming, but when it still happens, it hurts. It's like a knife being dug into you. And so we say goodbye, Charlie. We say thank you for all you did for this community for 50 years plus. There will never be another Charlie Dolan anywhere, not just in Kearney, and we will miss you forever. And our thoughts, our prayers, and our love are with Joanne Dolan as she mourns the loss of her beloved husband of so many years. It is about 19 minutes past the hour. Canessa here with you on the Observer Live. Before we go, I just want to remind you that our own Lisa Fiorenzo, on a whim, decided to apply for a contest. It's called Fab Over 40. And don't you know, they accepted her to be part of the program. And now she is in the running to win a $40,000 top prize and a photo shoot and a dream spa vacation. Now, she can't get there unless you vote. So, since you're watching this on Facebook right now, more than likely, right up below this post is going to be the link where you go to vote for her entry. You need to vote through Facebook. You can vote once a day for the next 10 days through the 20th day of October. And if she gets the most votes, she's going to win. And we know she can do this as long as you do your part. So we really need you to do this. If she knew I was saying this right now, she's in the other room and can probably hear me because she can hear a mouse peep. but she would probably be mad at me for telling you about this, but I'm doing it anyway. So please vote for our Lisa if you can help her to win this contest. It's something that would mean the world to me if you would do it, and I know it will to her, even though she would say otherwise, okay? So please, please do that voting. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'll probably make it the pinned comment so you know where to find it. But for now, it's going to be right below this post, more than likely. It takes 30 seconds, and you can vote once a day for the next 10 days. That's going to do it for this edition of the Observer Live. I want to thank each and every one of you for logging on and joining me today. Don't forget, we'll be back 1 week from tonight, but if anything breaks during the course of the week, we will interrupt your day and let you know what's going on. So from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com, it's Kevin Canessa signing off for now, and we hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Good night, everybody.